This video will cover 5 ways of how you can get into modern board games. Hello, Board Game Shenanigans here. The reason why I think everyone should get into modern board gaming, which has released over the last few decades, is because this is now a unique time to get into board gaming when other forms of media are focused solely on electronic and television. Board gaming is still thriving as a physical medium where you can pick up pieces and enjoy a social time with other people sitting around a table playing a game and passing the time that way. So, if you're new, how do you get into board games? Well, an obvious place to start for me as someone who is a board gamer is to start by trying games which are popular already. And a good resource for this is Board Game Geek, which is pretty much the Wikipedia for board games, and this will show off new games as they release and are shown off, but also has full ratings for each board game that has ever released, and they list these out as a top 100 and go up to into the thousands of what the top board games are. These are rated by thousands of people daily. They go through different games, and games can go up and down the list and be some of the top games ever, or they could be down at the bottom that no one ever talks about anymore. So for example, we have Brass Birmingham as a first option here, and this one in particular has been rated the #1 game of all time. But for right now, this can go up and down at any point, but for a game like this, it's quite a high complex game, so it's not one to start on. So this is a good resource to find out if a game will be suitable for you as someone brand new, because if something is too complex, it might be too much for someone who's brand new to board gaming to get into. But something much lower on the list, maybe a 1 or 2 or even a 3, might be better than a 3.8 as it's been rated here. And also another resource to use will be YouTube. So Google or YouTube any board game and you'll find results of people reviewing these games and showing how to play them and just giving their general thoughts about them, and you can find these online, and it'll make it much easier for you to gauge visually what the game is like and if you will enjoy it. Another easy way to get into board gaming is to start by finding another social group that are already into board gaming to introduce you to board gaming in general. So, for example, here in the UK for me, there is a website called Tabletop Gaming, and they have a map of the country showing all the different places where you can find board gaming groups who meet up probably on a weekly basis. And you can find stores and other places around the country where you can finally find someone to actually introduce you to the game, play it, and buy new games also, because most likely some of these will be meeting up in gaming stores, which will allow you to look for new games to buy and play. If you've enjoyed the video so far, please consider leaving a like, and also comment what your favourite board game of all time ever is and why you enjoy it. Another way is you can investigate what the games are about before you decide to buy and play them. So through Board Game Geek, there's a good advanced search option which allows you to set different settings for what type of game you want to get. So for example, we've gone 6 to 10 rating, so it's a highly rated game. 1 to 3, well, it's quite low rated, so easy to play. And then 2 to 4 players, and between 30 and 60 minutes, and you can change this to however you feel, and then if you click submit, it'll load up all the games that meet those requirements which you have listed, and then you can find games available. And for example, games like Seven Wonders, Pandemic, Carcassonne, these games are easy to pick up and play and very popular, so these games will be key ones to go in and learn and play, and if you're new to the game, because hundreds of thousands of people have rated these games and they're all suitable for many players and to get into. So on with the next point of how you can get into modern board games. Is a good way is to try something you're comfortable with, and by that you can play a game which is similar to something you already know, and it'll be a changed version of that. So a good example I come up with would be King Domino. King Domino is a quite short and easy game to play, and it just takes from the original Domino game, which is centuries old at this point, but with King Domino it's revised it in a different way, and you line up different coloured tiles together and get points based on where you place them in front of you. It's a lot different than a normal Domino game, but it has the same mechanics which make it simple for you to pick up and play. And as more board games release, they continually adapt to mechanics that have been around for a long time, but reinvent them in new and interesting ways, which makes modern board games interesting to play. And lastly, the easiest way to get into modern board gaming arguably will be to play it with your friends and your family, to try and get into it much easier, as if you have other people around to do it with that you already know, it'll make it much easier for you to handle it. It's not the same as meeting strangers to play, because that is a new challenge for yourself, but to play with people you already know, you already trust, and you already can socialize with in any way, that will make it much easier for you to get into board games. Thank you for listening. If you want to learn more about board games, please consider subscribing and checking out some of my other videos. Thank you. Bye.